Back to Go Again Gaming, and welcome back to round three of the League That Means Nothing Too. I'm Ian. I am one of the mainstay commentators. If you haven't been watching the league up till now, please check out all the previous videos. And today we have a cracking match going for you. We have the champion, the queen of the League That Means Nothing, one, Carlota Fernandez, on her mainstay, Azalea, ace in the hole, taking on a titan of the fab content industry, Roger Bodie, one half of the Manor cast, one of the assistant professors of Manor University, and he is playing Boltyn. Both of these players have started out 2-0, so it's going to be an interesting development when we see what happens in the league this time around. After all, Carlotta is the undefeated, undisputed reigning queen of nothing, and Roger is coming to take that crown. We've seen some incredibly powerful play from Roger, using the new equipment that has come in the Boltyn Armory decks. And we've seen Carlotta doing an awful lot of what Azalea does best. Traditionally, this is a very Azalea favored matchup. Boltyn wants to do a lot of things. Azalea doesn't really want you doing anything. So it'll be very interesting to see what approach both players take. I would imagine for Roger, trying to play combo Boltyn would be the way to go, because trying to play traditional Raiden, you're not going to have enough time or to generate value turn over turn when you're being smacked in the face for 17 dominate with 16 on hits. And for Carlotta, she's looking for red in the ledgers. She's looking to turn off hero text, frailties, all the things that Boltyn hates. If she happened to have a frailty trap or two, that would be ideal, but I doubt that those are in the list because that's just bricks in your Azalea deck. Um, so I am very excited to see how this game shakes out. With that, I'm going to throw it over to the gameplay and we'll see what happens. So yeah, as expected, you can see Roger setting up with Hot Streak and Centauri Saber, the combo Boltyn, and Carlotta on those beautiful altered Death Dealer, Crow's Nest, and Azalea. It should be noted both of these heroes recently got armory decks. Obviously, Roger is using some of the new equipment in those boots, and he's starting off strong. Just, hey, I'm going first. Here's a bolting blade for 7. I need to get some cards out of my hand because obviously, like, my estimation would be that nothing in his hand is currently charging. And if you're Carlotta, you're probably just blocking this out, going to your turn and seeing what happens. But yeah, both heroes recently got armory decks. Carlotta not using any of the new equipment. Whether she's using the new Arrow Stone Rain remains to be seen. But I would imagine using the new equipment requires significantly retooling the deck. And it looks like we have one arrow blocking from Carlotta. And whether or not that's going to be all of it, let's find out. Yeah, looks like Carlotta's going to be giving up a couple more cards here. Or she's really looking at a hand that is very powerful. Because, I mean, on turn 1, there's no point in taking any damage. Yeah, giving up another Boltyn shot. No Boltyn text active, so there's no buff to this attack. And there's no real risk here of blocking out. Let's see, Roger with all that beautiful cold foil equipment. And yeah, Carlotta just giving 8, saying, like, here you go, blocking out. We'll wait till see what happens on my first turn. Roger Arsenal, card to the bottom, ready to go. Drawing up, and now the real game begins. We'll go and see what Azalea has in store for this Boltyn. Drill shot's very powerful. Anything that can interact with the armor, anything that can interact with the hand, and obviously anything that can interact with action points. Can't think of any arrows in Azalea that would do something like that, where you could only have one action. No, that seems like it would be busted, like really unbelievably broken. Why would anyone print something like that? Looks like Carlotta's taking her time to make this decision anyway. Roger I imagine is going to be looking to keep his life total high early in the game because you need a certain amount of life just to threaten your opponent when you're going for your big combo turn. Oh, and a sleep dart from Carlotta, which is an excellent arrow into Boltyn. Like all his builds obviously rely very much on his hero text. Yeah, and then we have a lace with blood rot, blood root, release the tension. So sleep dart for 11, card in hand. So that's going to be an arsenal. And turning off Boltyn's hero text, threatening with a blood rot, and making sure no defense reactions can come from arsenal. Now 56 damage. Surely Roger can't take all of that. So it looks like she's going to say, "Oh yeah, whatever. Send me the bill. Here's my boots. I'm going to get this charge train rolling." Yeah, charging that Bolt of Courage, getting the first card into Soul for Boltyn, getting a Quicken. Very powerful in this deck. Like Quicken tokens in general are extremely good, and those boots being able to advance your game plan by charging, as well as generate Quickens on their 2 block is something that seems a little bit innocuous, but is very, very powerful. Now, Roger choosing to take 9 and have a sleep dart effect and a blood rot pox. So it'll be interesting to see how this shakes out. Obviously, Roger's definitely not planning on relying on his hero text this turn. So it could be something like a take flight charging just to get that go again. We're just going to charge a card at a time, see what happens. Obviously, he has go again from the Quicken. And Carlotta just drawing up, having an Arsenal passing. Keeping Arsenal's turn to turn so very relevant for Azalea. And yeah, we have an Engulfing Light coming in here for 1 whole point of damage. With go again. Charging a card. And obviously, if Engulfing Light hits, that's an extra piece of soul. And really, Boltyn really changes the math with things like, oh, yeah, there we go. Beacon going up to 2. So Roger is just replacing that card in Soul, probably going out and finding his Spirit of Erina, getting it in play, and getting ready to go off. Because once you have Spirit in play, your ceiling for charged cards in your Soul drops dramatically, with the ability to play Lumina Ascension as an instant. Now, for those unaware, playing a non-attack action with Go Again as an instant means that while it has Go Again, it doesn't use an action point, but it will generate you one because it still has Go Again. It still has that text. Now, Roger obviously getting his card to Soul, Engulfing Light, Quicken is used up, 1 card in hand, and his Spirit of Erina. Carlotta taking a mighty 2 damage. Roger arsenaling Spirit of Erina, taking 2 from the Blood Rot Pox, and continuing to set up. I think Roger has concluded that Azalea is so good at shutting you down that you just have to become this uninteractive combo deck where your whole goal is to set up, block out until you're ready to go, and then go. Azalea doesn't have a lot of armor, doesn't have a lot to stop the on hits. If you can double Lumina plus Gallantry Gold, that should be more than enough to finish the game off. The problem is, of course, just getting there. Like, once you get to that point, it's fine. Getting to that point is a different story altogether. Carlotta using the Skullbone Cross Wrap, opting with this Infecting Shot in Arsenal, playing a Lace with Frailty, very powerful against a combo deck like Boltyn, which is so heavily reliant on its weapons, playing a Lace with Blood Rot, pitching the Spire Sniping, 2 resources floating, sending out another Infecting Shot, so threatening 2 Blood Rots and a Frailty this time. It'll be interesting to see how Roger responds to this. Is he going to, like, he can't keep taking 9 or 11, so we've got a 9-12 block from Boltyn. Yep, that seems about right. Here's 12. Um, Carlotta pumping it up with that Rain Razors for another 2 points of damage, just pushing it over the top, giving that frailty, giving that two blood rots, and just really turning that one Rain Razors into 6 points of value, which is more than you can usually ask. Sorry, 5 points of value because it is 1 point of damage leaked over. So gaining an extra 4 damage in total off of one Rain Razors is very, very good. It's really like that is some high value play. That is something Michael Hamilton would love. He loves a 2 card 6, loves something like that. And really, that a Rain Razors there has just become a 1 card 6. Now, Carlotta obviously going off Arsenal to push that damage. Whether that was the play shall soon be seen because Roger is obviously out of cards in hand here and is just going to be forced to pass, take 4 damage, and draw up. Really whittling that life total away and trying to make sure for Carlotta she needs to put Roger in an awkward spot before he manages to find his Lumina Ascensions, because that is where this game will get very tricky very quickly for Azalea, whose main blocking cards are attacks, which just add value to Boltyn's turns. We have a Death Dealer activation, pitching and Blue Spire sniping. Let's see what we get loaded. It is a Withering Shot. Carlotta, not a lot of people are running Withering Shot these days, but Carlotta is loving giving out these poxes, these infections, the cards from Outsiders that really make Azalea hum. And now playing a Read the Glide Path, opt one. Let's see. Oh, Snap stays on top. That was a very quick decision there from Carlotta, is it? Now let's see whether that stays on top or if Azalea's hero text is going to be activated. Now, we have a Lace with Inertia. This is super relevant against Boltyn. Lace with Inertia really stopping any of that setup. And for the third turn in a row, we're just seeing 11 damage being thrown Roger's way. Now, as I said, with Boltyn, if you don't have a combo piece in hand, you can very comfortably just go, yeah, I will take no damage. I'll give you 12 and we'll just keep waiting. We'll wait for the right time. We'll wait for the right time. It's a deck about once you're ready to go, you need to be patient and then make the move at the right time. Looks like we've got some blocks coming here from Roger anyway. That's a Bolt of Courage, the Warband of Bologna, which is so far 5, covering 5 of the 11. Looking at the rest of that armor, Gallantry Gold, probably wanting to save an awful lot of this block for something like a Red in the Ledger, which is incredibly relevant. Yeah, giving up that Gallantry Gold as well. Has to be very careful as well about Courage of Bladehold. And Saving Grace, which is a new card from the Boltyn Armory deck. Charge your hero soul when you play it. If you charge this turn, you give a -2 to an attack. So between Saving Grace covering 5, the armor covering 4, and the Bolt of Courage covering 3, that is the entire attack covered with some extra. Now, Carlotta activating Snapdragon Scalers, closing the combat chain by activating Bullseye Bracers, and putting in an Endless Arrow. So she's just going to send this Endless Arrow for 5 damage. Now, what that tells me about Roger's arsenal is that it is either a Beacon of Victory or a Lumina Ascension, because he was very hesitant to take any damage at all from the inertia. So I would imagine that is 100% of the time going to be a combo piece in Arsenal. Carlotta getting max value out of her 2 pieces, making sure that Roger's equipment is down to 1 point of value each. Roger, obviously, the same, making sure he gets max value out of his equipment so that he's not left cracking Courage of Bladehold when it doesn't have any temper counters on it. Carlotta obviously having a sense of urgency about her game because we all know that once Boltyn kicks off, he is not unlike Thanos. He is inevitable. Yeah, activation of Tunic using the resource load a Boltyn shot, draw a card. Death Dealer, just such an amazing weapon. Anything, for those of you who don't understand why, anything in card games that says the words draw a card is good. That was the first thing I learned playing Flesh and Blood was that Snatch was a good card. Anything that says draw a card is inherently powerful. Now we have a Ravenous Rabble. Oh, or do we? Thinking. Yeah, play the Premeditate first. It only buffs your arsenal, but it will give you the Ponder token all the same off of a Ravenous Rabble. So we have a Ravenous Rabble coming out with this Ponder token on hit, revealing another Premeditate. So Ravenous Rabble coming in for 4, Ponder on hit. And let's see how Roger responds. Now, obviously, if Roger starts taking a lot of damage here, you know. Oh no. That is a surefire sign that there is something cooking in that Boltyn's hand. That is a unnerving thing when they just start taking damage. Now, obviously, it could just be that Rabble, for the most part, is vanilla damage, whereas a buffed Boltyn shot is a second arrow for Azalea if it hits. And Carlotta sending in 6 with go again. Buffed from the Premeditate, because it does say the next card from Arsenal gets a buff. Oh wait, Carlotta rethinking her line here. Maybe perhaps she's going to play another pump. No, we're going to go 6 go again. Oh, or we're not. Yeah, we're going to make sure that we're at least taking 3 cards if Roger wants to keep his hand. He is taking 9, and if not, we're giving up multiple cards here. So this is 9 go again. On hit, Blood Rot. No other on hits. We have already triggered our on hit from the Premeditate. Well, Boltyn Shot has its own on hit, which is reload. So if Carlotta is holding another 0 cost arrow, yeah, Roger taking 11, going to 11, taking 9, taking a Blood Rot. That tells me that, boy, oh boy, this hand is going to be stacked. And Carlotta just moving to Arsenal. Off the reload trigger. And giving Roger his Blood Rot Pox. Thinking about whether or not she's going to use this arsenal. Because obviously the Ponder token is relevant. You don't want to IP yourself as well. If you know you're going to be putting a Premeditate in your arsenal. And of course, Carlotta can activate that Skullbone Crosswrap now because it hasn't been activated this turn, which is super relevant. Something like a Codex of Frailty would be insane here. It would really, really set Roger back because you reduce the overall damage ceiling by a massive amount because it affects the weapons. So Carlotta really having to think hard about this one. I think it might be worth just doing it, just digging that little bit deeper. No, we're choosing not to. And just drawing the ponder and deciding which one of those two we should arsenal. Now, it is good news for Roger that no red the ledgers have been found in the top maybe 15, 20 cards of Carlotta's deck. No knock the death whistles. So no guaranteed dominates. He's just been free to do as he wishes with his turns and no dominates for Carlotta. She has not, with the way she's dominated the league, she has not managed to dominate in this game whatsoever. But she has a commanding life lead here, and let's see what Roger is going to be putting up. Yeah, right. Gallantry gold broken. That is a inauspicious start for this turn if you're Carlotta right here. Pitching a yellow, cracking Warband as well. So this will allow the next attack to charge Roger's Hero Soul and cracking Courage. Now, all that equipment being used, and Centauri Saber, nope, Hot Streak being sent in. So this tells me this is Hot Streak for 3 go again, and it allows Roger to charge. So he's going to charge a Bolting Blade, which now activates Bolton's text. More importantly, activates the very important hero text of Lumina Ascension, which is if you have charged this turn, you're on hit. Your swords have +1 power and attack twice. So Carlotta really is going to have to think about what she's going to do with this one. Generally speaking, as someone who's played a fair bit against Boltyn, you will take the damage. Yeah, here we have the first Lumina Ascension and the second Lumina Ascension. So now this is bad news. Yes, so the charge text on Lumina allows an additional attack. So now Hot Streak is 5 go, and it does not need to be activated for go again due to Lumina being played as an instant. Roger is just going to gain some action points. So he's currently sat at multiple action points, charging 2 cards to his soul and gaining 2 life because they're both light cards. Now we have a second attack with this Hot Streak. Again, if Carlotta blocks with an attack action, it's just going to gain go again for free. So you really don't want to do that. You want Rogers to start using the cards in his soul. And now we have another 2 cards going into soul for Roger. Carlotta probably happy to see that Beacon of Victory going away because once your Boltyn main opponent has used up their beacons, it really behooves you to be very careful if they're still in the deck because once the combo turn has been done, you are running the serious risk of just being killed from 20 by how much they've charged their soul. And now we move on to the first of 3 attacks from the Centauri Saber, which is again for 5. So we're looking at another 15 points of damage here, not including whatever card Roger has just drawn off the top. So Carlotta is just going to take the 5, I think. Yeah, so Roger has gained 6 so far, which I think is what our players are discussing here, and has 5 damage from a Centauri Saber. Very important line of text on the Centauri Saber. When it's defended, it gains +1 until end of turn. So if you block the attack with attacks on the first swing, it is going to be 6 for the rest of the turn. And Roger just showing 3 cards from his soul, so he can give it go again 3 times regardless. So is Carlotta going to take the gamble and take 15? My personal feeling is that you're in such a tight spot here as Azalea, you need to just take the damage and hope that you can send something back that really disrupts the Boltyn. Now, at the same time, the life totals are going to be very swiftly reversed with Roger when it started Roger at 11, Carlotta at 38 is going to leave Carlotta at a maximum of 8 if she takes all the damage. And Roger still has a card in hand, so you never know what that card could be. It could be a 0 cost charge card, a fantastic Boltyn card. Yeah. Roger just banishing the 3 cards from Soul. And it's good to see that last Lumina go. And we're just looking at how many more cards Roger's going to charge. He's going to gain 4 more life, go to 21. Because the only light cards go into Soul for Boltyn. And those goblets go to the bottom of the deck. And now Roger is just going to close up, tidy up the mess he's made, the absolute destruction he has just wrought in this game, stick a card in his arsenal, and he's ready to go. And then take the 2 blood rot, go to 19. Hey, it may only be 2 damage, but every little bit of damage is going to count here. Draw up to 4, Carlotta. This has got to be a good turn now, because like Roger has dealt 30 damage. And let's see what we've got. Now we have this premeditate we knew about. Carlotta using that opt very quickly, leaving that back on top. And now thinking about whether she's going to activate her hero text, or I imagine play the premeditate and draw some cards. Now, Roger, his fridge completely exhausted, but used as powerfully as possible. Boltyn has this unbelievable ability to just make use of every little bit of his combo potential in that fridge. So, Carlotta thinking about whether to leave that card on top at all, by the looks of things. And thinking about how best to deploy her hand. Because the thing about Azalea is 19 seems like a lot of life, but it isn't always a lot of life. I have been attacked by Azalea for over 19 with an amplifying arrow or something very similar. I think Carlotta realizes that this opt could be crucial to how the game goes. Just looking at the texture of her hand, if there's the right amount of buffs and arrows, this could be seriously powerful. Obviously, if it's a good arrow on top, you don't want to draw it with your death dealer, but it all depends on whether she thinks Roger is willing to start blocking things like Boltyn shots now that he has the life lead, or whether he's going to use that life lead as a cushion, because life is a resource. The only point of life that matters is the last one, the one that ends the game. Carlotta really second guessing herself here, and yes, we're activating that ace in the hole, that amazing altered Azalea, and putting in a Boltyn shot. So this is going to have dominate. So I imagine there's going to be a buff here, and we have a dominated reload. So unless Roger has one of his saving graces, which we have seen go into soul, or one of his soul shields, which has also gone into soul, we're not going to see a whole lot here. Yeah. So we have a read the glide path and a release the tension. So whatever that arsenal is, it better not be a defense reaction, or it is just kind of staying there. Carlotta opting again, leaving it on top, sending in a Boltyn shot for 9 with dominate. So this is a 9 going in on hit reload. Though I can't imagine the reload text is exactly where Carlotta wants to be and is looking to land this hit. Maybe bait out some blocks from Roger if possible, and then load an arrow. Yeah, Roger just taking them and saying, "Yeah, send me the bill. Who cares? I'll take 9." This is only bait. This is bait for the real hit. And Carlotta thinking about the best course of action, pitching to Death Dealer with a Remorseless, loading a Remorseless, drawing a card. Remorseless, a very powerful arrow, obviously, and sending in another 5. So 5 damage coming in. Remorseless again, no arsenal defense reactions. And if it hits whenever they play an action card, they'll lose a life. So obviously the swords, not action cards, but still, this can be a very powerful thing against Boltyn more so than any other warrior, because Boltyn is the only warrior that really plays a lot of action cards. Yeah, so Remorseless lands. Roger is just happy to be sent the bill here and is ready to absolutely crack back and see what he can do to Carlotta. Because he only needs to leak 8 damage at the end of the day. And again, something like The last beacon of victory could be a very sneaky way of doing that. Send in the sword. Oh, beacon for plus however many soul I have. -3. Go get Celestial Cataclysm and just send it for lethal, which is the most powerful post. Oh, well, the second most powerful post combo play Boltyn has available to him. Now, double charging off a V of the Vanguard is an incredibly powerful way to go, especially when it generates a quicken token off a banner out of gallantry. So we've got a 5, and both swords this turn are going to get a comfy +2 from Boltyn, from V of the Vanguard, which is again 5 damage into 4 into 4 at least. And who knows what else is coming. That one card waiting in the hand could be a Courageous Steel Hand. And it looks like Roger was very happy to trade 6 damage from Remorseless to a potential 9 damage from this via the Vanguard. Now, the real trick when you're playing Azalea is deciding when to give up that equipment if you ever want to. Yeah, Roger just showing off a stacked soul as well, knowing that pretty much no matter what is going on in Carlotta's hand, I would say a Beacon of Victory might be lethal. You never know. Azalea could be running unmovables now. I've no idea. It's a tough spot to be in if you're Carlotta. Again, when do we give up the cross wrap? When do we give up the tunic? Do we do it at the last possible minute, or do we do it now to try and preserve some life? Because we've not gotten a lot of use out of the cross wrap, and we're really just hoping to send damage non-stop. We need to force Boltyn to block, and it's so hard to do if we're not disrupting his turn. The worst part, obviously, is that your arrows are now effectively 2 blocks because Boltyn's hero text is active, which gives +1 to any attack that's defended by an attack action. Carlotta really thinking very long and hard about this block at all because a Courageous Steel Hand right here is lethal, and no one wants to be got like that. So there requires maybe at least 1 block here. It's hard to say. Yeah, Carlotta is ready to give up that cross wrap, I think. And Roger giving that via the Vanguard go again in the attack reaction step, giving a 4 damage to Carlotta, which means every single weapon is lethal this turn now. So we've got 4 coming in from a Centauri Saber. And it has go again, thanks to that quicken. Again, every attack here is just going to put Carlotta on the spot because you need to keep some amount of cards in Azalea to really threaten anything. Because once you start having to block with too many cards, there's not a lot you can do. Death Dealer obviously mitigates some amount of that factor by drawing you cards. But it looks like Carlotta is at the very least going to be forced to give up 2 cards here. So she's going to give up a Lace with Frailty, so not triggering the Centauri text, and then another 4 coming in from this hot streak. There's no go again currently, but again, Boltyn's hero text is very much in play. And for free, if Carlotta gives up an arrow here, Roger just has access to go again without having to activate Boltyn. Really thinking about this one, it's a very, very tough spot to be in because once the life totals get low like this, and you've no arsenal, Boltyn just can do so many things to. There's so many tricks in the deck that can just take you out without you seeing it until it's just happened. Yeah, we've got a 2 block here and the tunic being given up for this hot streak to go to 1. Roger is going to activate Boltyn's hero text attack reaction to give that hot streak go again and send in a bolt of courage for 4. So Carlotta is forced to give up 2 cards here. Oh, and one of those is a Rain Razor. So that is the game. Because the 3 block here pumps this to 5, which is double lethal. And there is no way out for the Queen of the League round of the first version of the league. So that is the first loss we've seen in a while from Carlotta. And another storming Boltyn performance from Roger Bodie. That is a tough break, Carlotta, but don't worry. You'll come back stronger and we'll see you in the top 8. Played it well, didn't see the disruption you needed on the turns you needed them. And Roger, what more can be said? That is a man who knows everything about playing Boltyn. He knows when to block, he knows when to hold, he knows when to take damage, and when to just give up his hand and just say, hey, we'll get him next turn. Big, big game from both players there. And it'll be very interesting to see where they go now in round 4. Roger, just one of these pro players, coming over to this league that means nothing. He's really got to show everyone that it might mean nothing, but to him, every win means something. It's a great play from both players, and a big shout out to Carlotta and Fabritorium, and to Roger and the MNR cast. I am a big fan of both, and I can't wait to see more of these guys in the league that means nothing. Um, Generally, quite a tough game for Carlotta there because it is, strictly speaking, usually Azalea favored. So Roger knows he just has to go. And if he sees the combo pieces, really there's not a lot you can do because that combo is so powerful and it's just inevitability on a stick. Um, yeah, I have not much more to say on that. Fantastic game. Really, really good. We got to see Roger's deck just operating at maximum efficiency and Azalea not really giving everything Carlotta needed on the turn she needed it. So, what more can I say? This is round 3 of the league. That means nothing. We're going to keep going until morale improves. The nothing will continue. I've been Ian. You can find me on Twitter at findells_spirit. And I very much hope you enjoyed the commentary. I hope you enjoyed the gameplay. If you like the league, if you want to see the league come back for Rosetta, make sure you like, you comment, you subscribe, you tell Az what a great channel he has, what a great league he's running, and how much you're enjoying the league. And we will see you in the next one.